Hey everyone, welcome back to A Life of KG. I hope you're all having a great week. Today I'm extremely excited to be interviewing Carl Hinder. He is a business coach within the beauty industry. Well, hair and beauty actually. So he goes around and helps salon owners obviously grow even more than they are now, helps with sales within salons, help just be that person that we as salon owners need to bounce off of. He's a great guy. He's also just released a book that helps salon owners with sales as well. And there's just so much that you can learn from Carl. So I'm really excited to be able to interview him and to be able to share his knowledge with you guys today. So without further ado, here he is. Hi Carl, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Good morning, Katie. Thank you for inviting me.
You're more than welcome. So can you tell our listeners who you are and what exactly you do?
Okay, so my name's Carl Hinder and I'm the business coach with Salon-Help. And the main thing I do is actually coach businesses to be successful. That can mean anything from sorting out a few little problems for them, but it's usually growing their businesses, particularly on the sales side of things.
Oh, amazing. So do people just come to you for like one-offs, or do you have like packages that you work with salon owners?
Yeah, I normally, historically, over the last few years, I've been actually coaching people face-to-face quite a lot. And over the last couple of years, I realized that I can't actually get through enough people by doing that because you spend half your life in the car. So I now spend probably about half my life in the car or with a client and the other half doing video kind of coaching. And sometimes, yeah, it can be maybe they just got a staffing problem. We want to sort out some structures. But to be honest with you, I don't really see that as kind of coaching because you can't really solve one problem in a business. You've got to solve a number of problems. So, yeah, it's usually face-to-face. It's usually long-term, but I can help any guys with, any problems. And that's why I do the Quick Coach TV so they can have, one question and one answer.
Yeah, okay, brilliant. So a lot of what I want to talk about today is kind of like retail within salons, because I know a lot of salon owners kind of struggle with that, or I see that salon owners don't do at all actually. I would say that you're kind of a sales genius, and as I've read your book and everything now. So when it comes to sales, what do you think? Why do you kind of think salon owners don't retail?
Okay, so there's a number of reasons. And the reason I wrote the actual book was because salons won't retail. It's kind of frustrating to see people either struggling with wages or struggling to stay open when they won't actually sell some products. So the real reason that people don't sell is because of fear, and that's fear of rejection by the client. So they're so scared that the client will say no, that they will not ask the question in the first place. It's a bit like if you want to ask someone out on a date, the thing that really stops you asking them out on a date is that they will say no to you, because you know that if everyone was going to say yes, you'd ask a lot more people out. And I think it's the same with products in your salon. If you knew every customer would say yes, then you would ask them. So it's really the fear of no is the number one reason that people just don't want to ask. They're just too scared.
Yeah, that's so true. I mean, I've obviously got the salon and we're getting a little bit better when it comes to retail, but I think a lot of the girls' problems, that's what it is. It is definitely the fear of rejection or someone saying no.
Yeah, I know when you listen to the more salon owners and the staff, they will give you a list of reasons like, I don't know, the price is too high, the client's not got enough money, it's available on the internet, I don't want to be pushy, all those things. And they all have a little bit of credence. I understand that all of those things are true, but they're not acceptable. Once you accept one of those barriers, you kind of hide behind it. And you make that barrier as big as you want it to make so that it fits with your ethos of not asking the customer. So it's the only real reason is that you don't want to ask. I mean, I know some salon owners don't actually see the sales benefit. I don't think they really realize how much money a business could generate. Even a 1 or 2 man business or woman business could generate so much money from retailing that they think of it as a cost because they got to buy the products in the first place. What they do is, if you've read the book, you'll have seen that we talk about people buy the product. Maybe they spend, say, £500 on products. They then sell them, but because they now got to spend another £500, they see that as a cost. They don't see that as being super successful and, have probably made £1,000.
Yeah, yeah. And I, from back in the day when I started, like obviously 10 years ago now, that was my mindset back then. I was like, well, I'm selling a product and I'm going to have to go and buy it back in again. So what's the point? But you don't realise that you're making profit on that product. You're only buying back what you brought it in for in the first place anyway.
Yeah, and in the book, I actually try and encourage people who actually believe that to be the case to actually put their product sales separately. If they, if you're a really small salon, put them in a separate tin under your reception desk, whatever you got to do, keep, or a separate bank account so that you can see this actual product fund growing. And once you see it growing, then you kind of, oh, I got this now. I understand there's a lot of money to be made. But when you pile it all in together, you pull out that money maybe to pay your VAT bill this month, or you pull it out to pay your wages, and then it feels like a big cost again.
Yeah, definitely. So obviously retail is extremely important to a salon, but how much would you say it boosts the takings by? Like how sometimes it helps salon owners like realise, oh, okay, maybe I should be doing this.
Well, I mean, in the book, there's figures that I base on doing £50 a day. I mean, it's going to depend on a lot of things. I base all retail sales on the numbers of products, not actually on the financial values. So when I'm trying to get a salon to really sell, I don't say, look, your target for this week is £500. I say your target for this week is 40% of people that come in. So for every 100, we are going to sell something to 40 of them. And it's got to be something that they need. Now, if you think products could be anything from 10 or 12 pounds to 25 pounds, and that's just on the hair side. I mean, if you go onto the beauty side, a product could be obviously £100 or more. So let's say on a hair salon with a product's about £15. I think if you can sell 2 or 3 products a day, I think most salons are losing about £15,000 per stylist per year. And if you've got 10 stylists, you're going to be turning away at least 150,000. And if your salon's a little bit bigger, you're losing 20 or 30,000 pounds per year. Now, I know that's not all profit, but around half of it is profit. But it's also good cash flow as well for certainly once you've got your mind through that barrier of that products aren't a cost, they're actually just an investment.
Yeah, definitely. It's actually crazy money. And also I know that obviously you're on the forums quite a lot as well. And there's a lot of people that are coming to the VAT threshold, they don't know what to do, they're scared, like obviously then this VAT bill now is going to kill them. That selling retail will help that so much.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, VAT, see, I get really 2 types of salon that contact me. I either get salons who are into the 300,000, 400,000 already, which is fabulous because you have to do a different type of coaching because you're coaching the more finer points. And then you get the salons that are at the 60, 70, 80,000 who are terrified of the VAT threshold. And they've got to go through that threshold if they ever want to realize their financial dreams. Now, when I tackle VAT, you can't tackle it with just retail, but it's such an important tool in tackling VAT. You can really, really, really offset your business, your VAT bill with retailing. So it's ludicrous to avoid it. If you're going to go through threshold of VAT, you've got to go through retailing. And a couple of weeks ago, I did a video on just VAT and products because there's other things you got to do, like put your price up and what have you. But it's worth having a look at it. It's on my YouTube and my Facebook channel. Have a look at it. If you're going to hit VAT, go and have a look how important selling products can be. And don't avoid VAT because of that threshold. Go and attack it.
Yeah, 100%. And this is what I always say to my students as well. Like, why would you want, because obviously a lot of people get advice to stay under, like to stay under for the beauty industry or hair industry. Why would you want to do that? Like if you're hitting that amount of money, it's amazing. Like you just need to grow with that now and like make the most of it.
But some of these salons are going from opening to that 85,000 barrier in about a year.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they want to stop because they're terrified of VAT. If they can break through, it is a pain barrier. There's no doubt about it. That 85,000 to 106,000 is nothing but pain. Mm-hmm. But if you think you can do 85,000 in your first year, well, then you can do another 85,000 in your second and third year. So one of the problems with the VAT threshold is, and accountants, is that a lot of them will give you advice based on your history.
Yes.
So they'll tell you at 85,000, look, don't go over it because you'll never be able to recover this. Or they'll tell you to hit the flat rate, and the flat rate isn't going to really help you if you're a good retailer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really important. VAT retailing is so important for tackling VAT, and it's important that when you do tackle VAT, that you're really aggressive.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So a lot of people, like we said, we did say they're scared of selling or rejection. What would you say about this? Like, how can they overcome it?
Okay, so when I think what they've got to do, I mean, it's got to start with the salon owners. The salon owner, first of all, has got to own, but they've got to own their business more, to be honest with you, Katie. I mean, someone asked me the other day, what's the biggest risk to our industry? And it's not things like VAT or Brexit or the minimum wage and all that. It's actually the salon owners themselves. So the first thing is the salon owners have got to take responsibility and understand the importance of retailing. Now, for them to overcome the fear, what they're really looking at doing is they've got to realize that the welfare of the client is more important than they're feeling, more important than them actually being rejected. So what I did in business in my early days, and I still do it now, which is why I end up with all these millions of projects. When you fear something, you've got to move towards it. You've got to. I said in a recent video, if you seek fear, or you sense fear, you've got to move towards it. Unless, of course, it's a bear or a lion or something, then you move away from that. But generally speaking, they've got to move towards it. And what they're trying to do is they've got to get their mind in their head. The mindset has got to be, I'm going to seek rejection. I'm going to, when someone rejects me, instead of taking it as a personal rejection, I'm going to work out why did they say no to me. Maybe make some notes. Maybe they video it. Maybe they just sit down and ponder later on, what have I got to say next time when that client comes in for them to give me a different answer.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really about, do I want the client to be as happy as possible? And because if you ask any salon owner or any stylist for that matter, or therapist, do you think customer service is important? No one in this whole world will say no.
Yeah.
But they will have lower customer service if the client hasn't got the right products. So I think the main thing is to realize that the customer, their welfare is more important than your initial feelings. And I would say just go and seek it. And when you get rejected, the more you get rejected, the less you worry about it.
Yeah, definitely. And I think also like you do cover in your book as well, you're only retailing what the client needs. If they're not buying what they need, then their hair or their lashes or whatever treatment is that you've just done, they're not going to get the full benefit from. So they have to have the product really.
Well, what I do in the book is, in lots of times, I actually put the word need in capital letters,
Mm-hmm.
because everyone thinks I'm this super hard retailer, because I push. All my clients, I think they have a sweat on when we do the retail training, because I do push. But we never, ever, ever get the client to have something they don't need. So it's not as if the customers get ripped off in any way. They're going home with something that they need. And on the customer service side, what I try and get the stylists and owners to realize is the customer service doesn't end today. I want, my client, even if I just do a cut and blow dry and I finish the style, I want them to look just as amazing when I bump into them in the supermarket in 4 days' time. So it's owning that client for longer, and they can't do it without the things that they need. I used to have it when we had our salons. We actually used to say, more of a joke than anything, but for a realization for the team. Look, if the customer doesn't need it, then you don't need to use it on them. So let's take away all the styling products. And then obviously the team would say, well, we can't do our job. You know what I mean? We can't do our job without any products. And of course, the client can't do their hair tomorrow or their skin or whatever it is, unless you give them the right things.
That's a really good idea, actually.
You will scare them, you know what I mean? You say, "God, give them us all, gather them, let's take them away," and they'll get the message eventually.
Yeah, definitely. So talking a little bit more about you. So day to day, you're a business coach. What would you say is the top two issues that salon owners come to you and want help on?
Well, I'll tell you what they actually say, and then I'll tell you what they should be saying.
Yeah.
um, so, I mean, what is because I encourage, I'm on a lot of forums, particularly on a Wednesday, which I managed to turn into my video and phone-in day and all that sort of stuff. So what I do is I get a lot of these calls saying, and these are the words they almost use, Carl, can you quickly, or can you give me a quick fix for marketing? Can you give me the top 3 ideas? Or the other area is staff, because everything boils down to really, they haven't got enough sales or they got staff problems.
Mm-hmm.
And the problem is that, of course, I mean, as a business coach, you know yourself, I could reel off 20 things for them to increase their sales. And I could reel off, 10 things for them to get staff tomorrow. But that doesn't, as a coach, that doesn't solve anything for them. And that's not really my job. My job is to develop the owner to solve those problems. So the two things they ask is, can you give me marketing tips really quickly? And can you solve my staff in problem really quickly? And I do try and help if it's maybe not not to say a genuine client, but not someone I'm working with all the time. I'll say, yeah, try this, this, and this, and good luck. But the real two problems is, and I've already kind of referred to this once already, the number one problem is actually the business owner. And the reason it's the business owner, and I don't want to criticize them, is because they don't invest in themselves. I did a Christmas video, I think it was, and I tried to do a really nice one standing in front of a Christmas tree. And it was a bit like an American TV program. And I said, how much time are you investing in your business? And I kind of worked out that the average salon owner is investing between 0 and 2 hours a week in themselves, I should say, not their business. Whether it's with a coach, whether it's on YouTube, reading a book, on webinars. So the biggest problem is the salon owner, because they're not investing in themselves. They're too scared to invest in training courses, or they're too scared to invest in good coaching. And I think that's where the industry is. If we can actually get salon owners to start not being just great stylists and not just great technicians and move towards being great business people, I think their business and the industry looks a lot stronger. And then the second one is with everyone is, when they're saying, I haven't got any sales or I haven't got any staff, it's not they haven't got sales or staff, it's that they've got no business structures. So they haven't got a structure that allows them to go and get sales, and they haven't got a structure that allows them to not only go and get staff in, but to, look after and retain these staff. So the two things I think is, the two problems are the salon owners and business structures. And if I just sorted those two out, I think most salons in the UK, and probably further afield as well, would be much more successful.
Yeah, definitely. I agree with that. So if someone come to you today and ask them to kind of questions, what would your tips be back to them?
On what, sorry?
If they did come to you today as a salon owner and said, how do I do this quick? How do you do that quick, with the questions that they'd normally ask you? What are kind of your tips back to them?
Well, I mean, if they ask me something on sales, is that what you mean? So if it was on sales, for an example, what I usually try and do with sales is this. We're in a person-to-person, face-to-face kind of industry. And the trouble with most businesses these days, they're trying to win the world over by pressing the magic social media button. Mm-hmm. So I'm all for social media. As you already alluded to, I live on social media, and it's fantastic. But it isn't going to solve every salon's business. And what I try and get them to do is review their business so that they start connecting directly with people. So I'll say to them, for example, how many open evenings have you had this year? I mean, if you have an open evening and you invite 20 people along that you've never met before, they're not only going to they get to meet you, they get to shake your hand, they get to see how friendly you are, they get to meet your team, they get to see how beautiful your salon is, you can talk through your services, you get to really, really, really connect. And if you get 20 people there and you get 10 people booked and you get them rebooked, that's more powerful than any social media that you'll ever have. So I usually direct most of my salons, depending where they're based. I mean, if they're in a city, maybe we got better foot flow and we can pick up people passing. But generally speaking, I try and get them on the sales front, working directly with people. So open evenings, coffee mornings, and then on the staffing side, going out to recruitment events, going to the colleges and knowing the trainees and knowing the college lecturers. Everything for me is about face-to-face, which is why I end up at all the events, all of the exhibitions. Even if I'm not working, I literally walk around handing out cards, shaking hands. That's all I do, because it's much more powerful to meet someone and shake their hand than to give them another message in their inbox. So I would say to any salon owners who are struggling with getting clients or struggling to get staff, work on the basis of face-to-face. Go to local businesses, talk to them face-to-face. Don't rely on that social media button.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. I think a lot of it, again, though, comes to fear, isn't it? Some people are very shy and scared of meeting people, whereas on social media, obviously, you've got a computer in front of you, so you can be really confident.
No, I totally agree. And I have had some clients in me, Carl, I'm not that person. There's two things. First of all, if I look back over my history, even though I've had fantastic training because of my earlier training in retail, I wasn't that person, and I had to become that person. So these people have got to face those fears, and they've got to become it. Now, if it's intrinsically something they can never do, let's say they can't go marketing, maybe they can't go to local businesses, maybe they just cannot overcome that fear, then what they have to do is they have to get someone who can. So maybe it is their manager who's well trained, or maybe it's not something that I normally do for my clients, but maybe it's a coach-like person that goes out with them and shows them what they got to say and what they got to do. And maybe it's an events manager that organizes their open evenings. The point is that they can't accept, if I can't do it, it's not going to get done. The fact that they can't do it doesn't mean that the business shouldn't find a way.
Yeah, that's good. Really good advice. Did you have a salon, Carl, and what kind of made you not have them anymore, or do you?
Yeah, sure. So I spent the first roughly 20 years in the southeast of England, London, Kent, all that sort of stuff, as a retail manager with stores like B&Q and Sainsbury's and Asda and that sort of stuff. And then in the late 90s, I opened a salon, and we grew that to 4 salons. So I kind of have a bit of background in both. But in about 2012, I took a bit of a serious health problem, and it included, I don't tell many people this, although after this podcast, I'm sure
thousands of listeners have got.
It's fine. I don't tell people because it's exactly like everything else that I believe. I don't believe in barriers for anything at all. Katie, if I came to your place and you told me you couldn't do something, the conversation wouldn't end there. I never give up on anything at all. And it's the same in my life. I got seriously ill. I lost my eyesight. I woke up one morning with no vision. And not only was that a big impact on that moment, but it's impacted me since in being, nothing will stop me. Nothing will stop me. Okay, I got most of my eyesight back. I haven't got vision in one eye. And even though I had great managers, I had a number of fantastic managers, and they're still great managers because they've got the shops. I decided that I would move the business on. Some of the salons got closed. Some of them that were bought out by the owners, by the managers. Mm-hmm. And now I don't have a salon. And to be honest with you, the way this coaching has developed over the last 5 years, there is no way I could coach and manage a salon. Absolutely no way. So yes, I've had 4 salons. And do you know what? I had problems. I had problems running my salons, and I'm proud to say that. Because when I go to a business, I don't like them to say to me, oh, you don't know what it's like. Trust me, I know what it's like going through VAT. I know what it's like when your staff don't turn up. I know what it's like when your customers don't show again. So I've had all the problems, and I tried to find all the solutions that I could. So that was it. I decided 2012, that's it. Let's go and do some coaching. There was some other stuff as well. I was president for the Welsh Hairdressing Federation. So I was always in someone else's salon, and it felt a bit natural, really. I was always helping them for free, and now I just help them for money. So that was it. I got rid of the businesses, moved into coaching, and this is where I am now.
Yeah, that's brilliant. I mean, and obviously, as you've got the experience as a salon owner, not just running one, but four, you'll have the answers to everything that a salon owner will need help on.
Well, do you know what? I've also learned lots. I mean, when I go into a salon and I see it, failing or struggling, I obviously learn from them as well. And that's the beauty of, you having a coach, is that you don't just get me and my 4 salons. I think I've been in 375 salons since 2012, something like that. Um, so I get to learn, if you like, by their mistakes as well. So yeah, you do. When you go 4 salons, you do tend to learn quite quickly.
Yeah, definitely. That's cool. So, Carl, where can people find you? How can they get in touch with you? How can they find out more about your?
Okay, so I like to be everywhere. My one of my things about my branding is to try and make sure that when you're thinking of a coach that can help you, mainly in the sales, that's where I'm strongest. If you want to develop your salon sales and systems, those are the things that you need doing. The place to get me is, I love people to phone me. So that's 07931 518 But I appreciate when I'm with a client, I don't actually have my phone on. But you can find me on social media, on my Salon-Help page on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. Email's great, info@salon-help.co.uk. I think you can pretty much find me everywhere. And I encourage people to find me, because I will help anyone with any problem. Whether I end up coaching you is a different matter.
Yeah, I must admit, you have been extremely helpful over the years when it comes to me as well. So you can get so much knowledge just from having a chat with you or dropping you a message. So we're grateful for that.
Thank you. And please, everyone, contact me. I'll try and help you as best I can, and I always will.
Oh, lovely. Well, Carl, thanks so much for coming on the show. I bet so many salon owners are going to take a lot from this. So thank you.
Well, thank you very much, and I appreciate your time. I look forward to hearing the podcast, and I look forward to getting some feedback about the book from you and some of the other readers.
Yeah, definitely. Do you want to say where can people buy the book from?
Oh, you can get the book. Sorry, you can get the book on Amazon, and it's called Salon Products: Sell or Die, or Sell or Die Not Trying. Or you can go to the website www.salon-help.co.uk, and it's in the store. And just a cheeky little plug, there's also a backup online course to the book. So there's a 34 module, 14-hour training course, which is based on the book. So for salon owners who read the book and think, wow, I'm going to do this, sometimes you want to get your staff to train in a different way. That's available as well. You can get that on the website.
No, that's brilliant. I have read the book and I absolutely loved it. I literally read it in like 3 days, but I haven't done the online training yet, so I'm next to do that.
Excellent. Thank you.
Definitely. Thanks so much, Carl. We'll speak soon.
Thank you, Katie. It's a real pleasure. Have a lovely day.